excited. And I just want to say thank you so much, all of you, for your hard work on the campaign for the last couple of months. We're in the final stretch, and it's going to be great. There was only one Romney early voter today, but who's counting? So if we can keep up that ratio of 217 to 1, we'll be good for the rest of the election. So I wanted to say thank you again, and we have a lunch for you today, so feel free to grab some food. But before that, I wanted to introduce someone very special who's joining us today. I don't know if you know who it is. So Jason Alexander is with us. And, all right. Yeah.
I brought my hair, too.
So a little bit about Jason. He is an actor, director, writer, singer, comedian, and semi-professional poker player, I guess?
Well, there is something to be said for my poker skills.
That's all, huh? Well,
If you want to settle this election with a game, I think we can do okay.
You might know him best, of course, for his role as George Costanza on Seinfeld from 1989 to 98. But I know him best from his campaign work for us in 2008, and then currently now. So please give a warm welcome to Jason Alexander.
You guys are doing the hard work and the good work. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. It's my first time in Iowa, by the way. And I got here at 1:30 in the morning, and it was actually pretty at 1:30 in the morning. It's beautiful. We were just out in, I'm going to get it wrong now, Nevada.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous out there. I love doing this, and I love doing this for a number of reasons, but, and I don't want to talk about things that are redundant to you, because I know this is mostly preaching to the choir, but if people, ever challenge you about why are these surrogates getting any attention, why do we need surrogates, and, I am the most reluctant celebrity in the world. I'm happy to meet people, but I don't actually, it's weird when you walk into a room and people applaud for you for doing nothing. And I get very shy about it. But I put myself in this position, and I become vocal about politics and about the campaign and about my support for the president for a number of reasons. And none of them have to do with me feeling that what I think or say is any better than anybody else. I tell the story, I told it in Nevada too, about if this were 21 years ago, I would not be doing this, nor would I have been able to, because I wasn't interested. I was not a citizen of the world. I was a selfish, young, married actor trying to build a career, and I didn't read a newspaper. I didn't watch television news. I had no idea what was going on in the world, and I could have cared less. And then a remarkable thing happened, and that is that the first of my two sons were born. And almost overnight, I went, oh my God, we're living in a world, and this is their world, and I don't know anything about it. And I became a citizen of the world. And I started reading, and I started to try and learn as much as I could. And a lot of my education came from just talking to people on the full spectrum of political ideas. I am often accused of being a knee-jerk Hollywood liberal. I'm really not. I hold a couple of opinions that the liberals would not love me for. And I have, in my day, I have voted for what would be considered conservative, certainly Republican candidates, and conservative issues when I thought that they had the best idea at the time. In this campaign, I have looked at what's out there. I looked at what's being presented. I've looked at the two gentlemen we are being asked to judge. Now, I'm a little biased because I tell you as a staunch heterosexual, I love Barack Obama. I just think he is an extraordinary man in an extraordinary time. He has been given a huge challenge, and I think he has risen to it admirably. Not perfectly, and certainly not done, but admirably. I think he's a man of integrity and intelligence, and I look at him with his children, and I go, he wants for his daughters what I want for my sons. And if he gets that for those girls, my boys are going to be fine. At the end of the day, we all vote for our own selfish best interest. My best interest is having the world that he wants to build for my kids. And I try and go around and tell people that. It's not you know, so many of these conversations, especially with the other side, begin with "you're wrong" or "you're stupid," and I find that just shuts down the conversation. I don't think the other side is stupid. I think they're not looking at these issues in the right way. You know, when I was directing a television episode the other day and talking to the crew, and the crew was, you know, Obama this, Obama that, blah, 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 blah. And they finally looked at me and went, "I guess you don't agree." And I said, "It's not really an issue of whether or not I agree." I said, "I got to ask you, what is the other side giving you? What policy are they putting on the table for you that is actually making the quality of your day-to-day life better? How are they serving you? What idea are you excited about?" And they would start with Obamacare. It's a travesty, a terrible, terrible thing. I go, "Really? You don't like that your kids can be covered under your policy into their 20s till they get on their feet? You don't like that you can't be bumped out of insurance coverage when you have a previous condition, or that you can be capped on your coverage? I said, "This is no good for you? These are not positive things? No one should be forced to pay for insurance if they don't want to." I go, "Really? If I choose to not pay for my child's health care, and he doesn't choose to pay for his health care, right? I have a couple of dollars, but I choose to not cover my kid for health care. And God forbid he gets hit by a bus outside of your hospital. What are you going to do with my kid?" He said, "Well, we'll treat him." I go, "Well, who do you think is paying for that? Aren't you the guys of personal responsibility? Isn't that a conservative cause? Yeah, I'll be responsible yourself." So you're asking people, this bill asks people who can contribute to their own health coverage and are not, to step up or pay a penalty. Isn't that what responsibility is all about? "Oh, yeah, but you know." And then we get into issues of the economy, and I go, "Well, okay, listen, we got a terrible economy. We got problems. There's no question." I go, "I'm not an economist. I don't have great answers. I don't know who's right and wrong otherwise, but I know how to read. I read history. In the history of the United States, ever since the rise of the middle class, this idea of cutting things to the bone in order to solve economic problems has never worked. If it worked, I'd go, well, you know, it's an idea. It worked before. It could work again, maybe. It's never worked. You want to see what austerity looks like? Look at Greece. Look at Spain. They're trying austerity. They're dying. Whereas, what got us out of the Great Depression? Investment. We raised revenues, we invested in technologies, we invested in manufacturing. Iowa is the living embodiment of the democratic dream. You've got 30% of your energy coming from new sources of energy. Wind, these gorgeous turbines all over the place. You've invested in the right ways, and subsequently your unemployment is so far below the national average. It's so enviable. On top of which, you've got this great program of starting to vote 40 days out from the election. It is so extraordinary. And why this is not a national law, I do not understand. Because we all know what happens. You get to election day, and everybody wants to get out and participate, and you get these lines, and you got to get to your job, and you got to do it. Our country is so behind the times in how we can vote. But this is extraordinary. And I know you guys have already participated and done it, and you're advocates for the system and you're advocates for the president, and I just applaud you. I just want to say, I take a lot of heat sometimes for standing up and saying, this is what I believe in. I think that's what we're supposed to be doing, no matter which side you're on. You're supposed to engage. You're supposed to stand up. You're supposed to vote. You're supposed to know what's going on and have ideas and exchange ideas. I don't want to take our country back from anybody. I want to share it with the people that are here. It's this very divisive technique that has been used to push us so far apart from each other. We're not that far apart from each other. We all want the same things. We want a decent life for our families, and we want tomorrow to be possibly better than today. And we're all trying to get there. So this notion of, I got to stomp you out of existence in order for me to win,